I taught school for 20 years in the inner city, so don't even think about messing with me.
Art 101 with Mr. Burgher.
Scholars, welcome back to a special episode of Art 101 with me, Mr. Burgher. Today, we're going to talk a little bit about isometric drawing and kind of the how-to with this interesting drawing technique. So, without further, here we go. Okay, scholars, as we begin to look at isometric design, we're going to be thinking about this in terms of our vertical lines as well as diagonal lines. Okay? These can go in all of these diagonal or vertical directions, but they do not go horizontal. Sometimes if we see a doodle of a three-dimensional box, for example, we might see something that looks like this, where it's kind of a box shape and it goes back into space like this, but we're not going to do that. Okay, that's kind of like a one-point perspective looking drawing, and we're not doing that. What we're doing is kind of a take on two-point perspective using this triangular isometric grid. How we're going to start this is by drawing a vertical line, and then we're going to be building off of that with diagonal and other vertical lines. We also want to make sure that we're cognizant of the number of spaces that we're going. So for example, if I go 1, 2 grid sections across, I want to make sure that I go 1, 2, 1, 2. If I want that to be a square, to make a cube, of course I'm going to go 2 and 2 and make that cube. Now here's the thing, this can be the point that's coming at you, or it can be the inside of a space. It can kind of play some tricks. Some optical illusions can happen with this. We can see examples from M.C. Escher or Victor Vasarely when it comes to the optical illusions that we can start to create using this isometric grid formula. Again, it's always very important to count, and we can start to build this out in a lot of different directions. We can start to create worlds and places just like we might find on a video game like Minecraft or other sorts of things. And we can go after those grids in a lot of different techniques and textures and patterns and add color and do all kinds of different things with that as well. One of the interesting things about this is if we start to look at it in a counterclockwise sort of fashion versus a clockwise, we'll start to see something different. So if you start your eye down here and you look around this way, it'll start to look like this is the point that's kind of coming toward you in space. But if you look at it the other way, if you start over here and you look the other way, this will look like the corner of a room that's kind of tipping away from you. It's really kind of an interesting optical illusion. See if you can get your eye to play a trick on your mind. Play with this, examine it, build a grid. They're all over the place. You can find these sorts of grids and patterns all over the place. And in my classes, we're going to examine this concept many times over the course of the semester. So have fun with it, enjoy it, and use this as a way to start to build your knowledge of two-point perspective, the illusion of three-dimensional space on a two-dimensional surface, and creating really cool and unique patterns with this concept. Thanks for your attention, following along, and maybe picking something up about isometric drawing. We'll see you on the next one. You have a good day.
He can barely draw.